everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark. So 2 weeks ago, we mentioned that it was our 5th wedding anniversary and how happy we were that we've been married for 5 years.
Yes.
And this past week, we started to get those lovely things that pop up on your social media accounts called memories. Mm-hmm. And the memories were of our honeymoon, which is tough to believe that was already 5 years ago.
Yeah. It seems like a lot further, but then again, not really.
In some ways, it seems like it was years ago.
Yes, like it was. It was 5 years ago.
You know what I meant, like a long, long time ago. In other ways, it seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
So it was kind of crazy to see all these memories, and it brought back for me how much I truly love Aulani Resort.
You haven't gone on
the
an
island
Aulani
of Oahu,
like tangent in a while.
I have not. I've spared the people
yes.
of my Aulani tangents.
Yes.
But this series of memories has prompted me to want to talk about Aulani again. So here we are.
So every year around this time, we're going to talk about
We have
Aulani.
done 2 episodes now on Aulani. We did a traditional resort review like we do with all Disney resorts where we rate it. Go back and listen to that episode if you're interested in seeing how we rate it.
It's pretty high.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
It's very high. And we did another episode about how to spend the best day at the hotel. Mm. Like if you were to just have one day to spend at that hotel, how would we suggest you spend the best day at the hotel?
Yeah.
This episode, though, I thought it would be cool if we walked you through what we did each day of our honeymoon when we visited Aulani
what we kind of
5
remember.
years ago. Yeah, what we remember.
We're going off of pictures. Like dated pictures of what we did. But we have a rough timeline of the things we did and the things we accomplished.
Yeah, and it's imperfect. We didn't like keep a journal or anything like that. But just based upon the pictures and kind of our memories of how things went down, we're going to tell you some of the highlights, some of the stories, and why we decided to do what we did. So we went to Aulani, and because we are DVC members, this was actually the first time that we ever used our DVC
own,
account.
In our name.
So we had just purchased Disney Vacation Club as a couple.
Disney Vacation, right? Before Aulani.
Yes. Yeah, so a year before this, we went to Disney in August before our wedding, and together we made the decision that we were
we were married.
We were not just going to use everyone else's Disney Vacation Club points.
That was actually the true marriage bond before the marriage was
yes.
getting DVC together.
That's correct.
It's actually funny to think about now that we did that first. Anyways, that was our first couple purchase, I guess.
Our first big couple purchase.
Yeah.
Because then we purchased our first house the following spring. So it literally was like our first
one.
Big joint.
This just
purchase.
shows how crazy we are.
No, it just
about
shows
Disney?
How much we love
enthusiastic
Disney. It shows our enthusiasm for Disney.
How enthusiastic.
That's what it does.
We
the
are
first
about Disney.
Joint purchase that we made together as a couple, big joint purchase, was Disney Vacation Club.
We are going to Disney all the time.
Anyways, that was the first time this Aulani trip that we actually used our points. So we stayed in the Aulani. So we stayed in the Disney Vacation Club section of Aulani, which really mostly is that when you walk into the lobby, the left side is mostly all DVC rooms and the right side's normal rooms.
Yeah, if you go back to the resort review, we explain more of the layout of the resort, but it's basically like a big horseshoe curved V. So you have like one wing that's mostly DVC side, minus some of the bigger suites, like 2-3 bedroom suites that are on the other side. But the other wing is like everybody else.
So we stayed in a deluxe studio. Looking back on it, we didn't really have enough points to stay as long as we wanted to stay in a 1-bedroom. But looking back on it, I really wish that we had just spent the extra points and stayed in a 1-bedroom. Not that our deluxe studio was great.
No, it was actually really big because we were on that curve. So if you're on enough of the curve of the building, I feel like you got a wider room.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it's not a perfect square.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect rectangle.
Yeah.
It was kind of like oddly like trapezoidal shaped.
Yeah.
But
So
it
we got
actually
more.
worked out that we got more room
Yeah.
in the hotel room.
Yeah.
The one downside is that, in my opinion, food in Hawaii is expensive. It's islands in the middle of the Pacific, okay? It costs a lot of money to get food there.
True.
So you're going to spend more on food when you're in Hawaii. That's just the realities. If you're going to go to Hawaii, don't be surprised. Don't be upset. Like, that's just...
One of bananas like $3.
facts of life
Like,
here,
yeah.
okay? It
God only knows what it is now. This was 5 years ago, so...
It would have been nice to be able to just go to a store and buy some groceries so that way we didn't have to
Which we did go
eat
to
out.
sometimes. I think we did go to like one of those convenience store things on our kayak adventure that we'll talk about later. But there were places we rented a car for the length of our stay because we knew we were going off property to do some gallivanting. So there are grocery stores, convenience stores, you can go grab your stuff. So yeah, I think it definitely would have saved us money.
It would have saved us money. I think it would have
Especially
just
because I'm
been...
a picky eater too, so I feel like I wasn't as like into most of the things. So yeah.
I think it would have been just nice to have like some breakfasts maybe or some
I don't
lunches
know,
in the
those
room.
flatbreads.
We'll get there. Those are delicious though. But we stayed in a deluxe studio. It was a pool view room, and if you kind of hung over the balcony, you could kind of see the ocean too.
Not too, you didn't have to like hang. You just had to like stick your head
if
out.
you stuck your head out
Yeah,
over the
you
balcony, you could see the ocean too. I really kind of liked the room. I thought it was very picturesque. You got a beautiful view of the other wing of the hotel, and kind of that valley pool area that is the middle
It's
of
like
the
a
hotel.
jungle. At night, it looks like
you.
a big jungle in the middle of the hotel.
It does. It's really cool the way that they themed it and they set it up with the pool kind of in the middle of the horseshoe. And you kind of got best of both worlds. You got some pool views. You got a little bit of the ocean views. I like sitting just out on that porch. I thought it was lovely. To back up, though, in order to get there, we had to fly. We live on the east coast of the United States, if you're not aware. It's a long flight, okay? So we were up at the crack of dawn. We left on Halloween night.
A very stormy Halloween night.
It was. It was a tremendously...
Like, the wind was ridiculous.
It was.
Like, it was a crazy ride there.
We had
to the airport.
So we were going to Rachel's parents' house. Rachel's father was going to drop us off at the airport. We had to, like, reroute ourselves several times because of trees down across roads, and I was getting very nervous that we were not going to actually make it to the airport because there was so many down trees and
or
issues.
the fact like the weather there too, we were like, oh no, is this gonna like
delay the flight
or like whatever, but it ended up being fine. We made it. We made it.
We flew out of
Was Logan
flew out of Boston and we flew into Seattle. We had a brief layover in Seattle. And we arrived in Honolulu around noon, which is just totally a mind bleep. When you leave your home at 6 a.m. and by noon you are in Hawaii.
It's 6 hours, but like not 6
but
hours.
you have
it's
like
12 hours
been awake
of
for
travel.
12 hours, and yet you've only like experienced 6 hours, but you've actually like lived through 12 hours.
It does feel like jumping through time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And we were wide awake. No, we weren't.
No, we were very tired.
No, we were very tired.
Yes.
I'm sorry. That was when we got home.
Yeah.
That we were wide awake. But it was like and we had to keep ourselves up when we got there. We were like, we have to go do something. We have to stay awake until at least like 6 o'clock at night.
So we picked up the rental car at the airport. We made the choice that we would use a rental car the whole length of stay, as Rachel mentioned. You can rent cars.
Remember my allergy attack?
Yes.
That was
terrible. You can rent cars from Aulani, though, and they do have a shuttle service between the Honolulu airport and the hotel. So you do not have to rent a car like we did.
No.
For the entire stay. We just felt like we wanted one for the freedom and the ability to...
We were doing a few more things off of the resort.
Be able to travel, right? And not have to worry about getting a rental car at the hotel. Just get it for the whole stay and just have it. So we made that choice. And on the way, to Rachel's point, Rachel, for whatever reason...
It's airplanes.
does not take Benadryl, even though she knows this is going to happen. But there's something about flying on an airplane.
I know what it is. It's just all that recycled air. But I think it's the fact that you get off of a plane and then getting back on. I feel like if I'm on one flight, I'm like kind of okay. But we were on 2 different flights. I'm usually not okay, but this was bad. Like, it was just...
Well, you had spent 5 hours...
That's what I mean.
...on one plane, and then 5 hours on another plane.
So my lungs and my body...
Whatever it is, like,
her
her sinuses just, like, switch from closed to wide open and just starts just pouring
it's just
forth.
Water.
Pouring forth from her nose uncontrollably.
Just water. Like, I just don't even understand what it is.
The entire car ride there was...
I was, like, crying...
The entire car ride there was just nose blowing.
I was mad.
Yeah.
Because I was miserable.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get there. I just needed medicine. I just needed to get there. And then I was better. I got some Benadryl in me, and then
we got
good.
there. Rachel got laid.
We're talking about our honeymoon.
Lays. The flower necklaces.
I understand.
Where is your head?
I understand.
Woman.
I understand, but I just made the connection of we're talking.
We got our flower. I got a rock lay.
Yes.
You got your flower lay,
Fresh
which is
orchids.
very cool. It was really cool once you walk right in and you're like just there for the first time. You know, you get those and it's really kind of awesome and you feel
They
like
welcome
welcomed
you.
home.
Yeah.
And this hotel is just breathtaking. It is so beautiful. The Imagineers who worked on
first
this,
walked
people
in and
like
we were
Joe
like-
Rohde,
Like jaw on the floor.
people like Joe Rohde and the other Imagineers that worked on this, they just did a tremendous job of honoring the Hawaiian culture and just providing just this beautiful experience. It is an open air lobby, so there's no real doors on either side of the lobby. You just kind of walk in and the breeze, the ocean breeze just kind of flows through.
So
Amazing. Beautiful artwork and designs on the wall, really kind of paying tribute to that Hawaiian heritage. And really go back and listen to our episode where we talk about this.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. We go into so much
detail.
more detail about that. But yeah, so I feel like that first night we just kind of like hung out at the bar, walked around.
The struggle was real, man.
We tried to stay
we had
awake.
to stay awake for as long as we possibly could to not screw ourselves up.
Yeah, because we'd be up at like 2 a.m. like...
Bear in mind, it's 5 o'clock there, and you feel like it's 11 o'clock in your book coming from the East Coast.
Yeah.
And so, we kind of just laid low. We got into our hotel room,
walked around,
unpacked.
went down to the beach. Yeah, just kind of...
Explored around the other
kept up
resorts.
moving.
Yeah, we explored around the other resorts.
Because if we stayed sitting too long, we would have fallen asleep.
Yeah, definitely would have. We ate at the pool bar, which was very nice.
Yes.
I love
and
that
it's so
pool bar.
funny because
made
I
friends
wish I
with
knew
our
her
barkeeper.
name. I know. I
Yeah.
wish she was there the whole time. Almost every night, I feel like, when we went down there.
Few exceptions.
Few
but
exceptions.
We spent a lot of time at that bar.
But yeah,
and it
every
was
time
always
she would
her.
see us, it's just that Disney experience, like we always talk about, like, everybody there gets to know you for you and not just a customer. Like, I feel like she was like, oh, tell me about this, tell me about that. We talked about our wedding. Like, it was very, like, and then it was, like, first name basis. She knew what drinks we wanted. She knew. She was like, oh, a Blue Hawaiian for you and a Mai Tai for you. I was like, yep. That's it. That's what we want. So, yeah. And, I mean, being on a small island like that where there's definitely not as many cast members there as in other Disney Parks resorts. You do see the same faces, which is also kind of nice because you do make those, those little relationships, those little connections. But then we finally slept.
We did,
That
and we
was great.
slept very long, and we went to bed early. We were in bed like at 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
which was the best that we could
tried,
do.
yeah.
We tried our hardest, but still by 6, 7 o'clock we were out
But even
like
the
a
next
light.
day, I feel like I
And
was
we
still
didn't wake up
exhausted.
that early. We may have woken
it was
up
like
around
6
like
or
5.
7.
It
Oh,
might
it
have
was
been
earlier
closer to
than that?
5, but which was kind of tough because
nothing
nothing
was
was
open
open yet. But, this is a reality. When you
Yeah.
travel time zones and stuff like that, if you're an experienced traveler, you know that that's part of it and that you just kind of got to work through those first few days as your body acclimates. We were lucky enough that we had 8 nights there. So we were lucky enough that we were going to be there for a while, and so it wasn't like we were just spending 5 days, and by the time you acclimate, like...
You're already
You're going
acclimating
back.
again to the other
So,
side.
but keep that in mind. Like, obviously, at that point, it was our honeymoon. We weren't traveling with kids yet. But when you're traveling with kids, it's only going to be more tough on especially young ones who don't understand our messed up concepts of time and how that works and all of that. So just bear that in mind. The next morning, though, we did something that I highly, highly, highly suggest you do if you are a family traveling to Aulani. And that is we went and had the character breakfast at Makahiki. Mm-hmm. This breakfast, this is a buffet-style restaurant in the hotel. It is just tremendous.
Yeah.
So many great options. It was a fantastic breakfast. You got to see your characters all dressed up in their Hawaiian best. You got to interact with Goofy and Minnie, and you got a special picture with Mickey outside.
So many selfies.
We
with
did.
Them.
We did indeed, and it was just a great breakfast.
Yeah,
it's a little
really
pricey because it's buffet style, but it was a very nice way to kick off the start of the trip.
And I feel like because there's not many, I don't know, quote unquote, in-your-face Disney things. I mean, this is definitely something you want to do, especially if you have kids. Characters are out and about around the hotel to do pictures and meet and greets and stuff. But as far as feeling like you're in Disney again, I feel like doing this is good. They also have a dinner available too. I feel like might be a little harder for picky eaters for dinner, but breakfast I feel like was a no-brainer. There was plenty of options. Some more traditional things, even sushi and like other kind of stuff, but then you're just traditional eggs, Mickey waffles. They're still there. Yep. All that stuff.
But it is your subtle reminder that you are at a Disney resort. So if you're traveling with family, like it's one of those cool things that you can do that it feels like you're in a Disney park, like something that you're familiar with from your Disney parks, a character dining experience. So I do highly suggest it. And that day, we just really spent the whole day exploring around the hotel. This is a hotel that has so much happening in it, and there's so many different things to do, from all the different facets of the pool to the beach to the things, the other like cultural activities around that happen. You have Auntie's Beach House, which is really geared for your kids in your group to kind of just go and explore. If adults
they do have the snorkeling there. It was not open when we were there. I don't really know if we would have done it anyway, but it wasn't open when we were there. But they do have that too, right at the resort. So that's fun. But you can rent all kinds of like paddle boards, and they have the sailboat, like traditional like sailboat rides that you can go out on. So there's so much stuff to do. You can't possibly do it in one day. I feel like that day was just finding out where everything was.
And like the lazy river in this hotel is ridiculous. Like this is like a water park.
It takes you like 20 minutes just to get around the whole thing.
It does, literally. 2 water slides, adult pools, kids pools, family pools, everything.
Hot tubs, splash pad.
Amazing. A whole like area, like not just like a splash pad, but like one with like the big buckets that like dump
like a whole
and like a play
playground
area.
Yeah.
That's a water themed area. So much to see and do in this hotel. And as much as I love the beach club's pool because it is tremendous, like the beach club Stormalong Bay pales in comparison to this pool.
I mean, they have an actual beach. Like the beach club pretends with like the sandy bottom thing, obviously, but like
you have to walk across a path to get to it.
Yeah, but to have like an actual beach, like the actual ocean, and like have like those smells and sounds and all of that stuff.
The infinity pools.
Yes, the infinity pools that were like the adult only area things. And for our time of year, this time of year, it didn't feel very crowded. Too much. Weekends were a little more, but during the week, I feel like it was pretty quiet this time of year.
I thought this first week of November was a great time. The weather was
you weren't like sweating.
No rain.
Yeah, no rain.
It was like 70s, no humidity. It was like it was Mark's idea of like the perfect
I don't think
weather.
It was 70. I think it was a little hotter than that.
It was like 70
enough for me to go swimming.
To 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say enough
80s.
for me to like want to go swimming.
But it was not like oppressively hot.
No, it wasn't.
It was just beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. No rain. No bugs.
What do you mean no rain? It rained on us one time.
One time it rained. But out of 9 days.
No, I know. Out of 9 days, there was only one afternoon.
One morning
Or
It was a
morning.
that it rained.
And then it was fine.
More on that to come in a little bit. But we just kind of spent that whole first day exploring around the pool and the beach area, and it was a tremendous time. There is going to be, our general theme for this stay was one hotel day, one explore day. One hotel day, one explore day. So we kind of did that throughout the entire course of the experience, really starting after Sunday. So Sunday we did a very similar thing the next day. We just hung around the pool, we explored there, but then at night we did something that I think everybody should do when they visit Aulani, and that is the luau. We
really started this first day off with a bang.
Well, this was the second day.
Oh, I'm sorry. But still, right off the bat, first day, character breakfast, second night, luau.
Yeah. The reason why I wanted to do the luau early and why I picked that was because it can get rained out. This is an outdoor event. It is weather.
You can reschedule it, hopefully, later in your trip.
If you pick an early one, you may be able to get in on one that's later in your trip. If you wait till the last day of your trip, though, and it gets rained out, you're out of luck.
Yeah.
So bear that in mind. There are also certain hotel rooms. I don't know if I would like this or not, but there are certain hotel rooms that actually look over the luau grounds. So you can almost kind of get a free show. You're just not going to eat the food. The food I thought was amazing at this experience.
I don't remember the food.
Delicious food.
I think I was more like...
a lot of traditional Hawaiian options. There was a pig roasting over an open fire.
And a head in the body and everything. So
disclaimer,
if that bothers you, it's not really out in the open. You do have to you have to go looking for it.
But there's a lot of really cool cultural activities and events that happen too. I learned how to play the ukulele with a whole bunch of children.
Yes.
Great video of that with a girl looking at me like, why is this adult guy playing the ukulele with a bunch of kids here?
Ridiculous.
There's also tattoo stations, and I think there was a basket kind of station.
Yeah, like weaving or something.
That. So there are different things before the luau actually gets started that you can experience with your families or adults can experience too.
You get to take a picture with two of the performers, two of the dancers that are in it, which is kind of cool too. Mm-hmm. And they're in their traditional things, and you get a different kind of lei.
You do.
Laid everywhere you got laid, everywhere you went. These were yellow. These were pretty.
They were.
I still have them.
Yes, you do. In that little box right over there that we're looking at.
Yep.
Anyways, the show itself, though, the food was great. The other experiences were great, but the show is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's traditional Hawaiian stories, but it's also got that Disney storytelling flair to it, too. So it was really just a great experience.
And making a mini come out of
highly suggest prioritizing the luau on your visit. It's just so unique to Hawaii, to that experience, and it does have that extra layer of Disney storytelling that just, I think, really makes it magical. And don't get me started about the luau song. I just love it.
Oh, their theme song?
I wouldn't call it a theme song.
Well, it is.
It's their traditional
I know, but it's about
song.
Okay. Anyway.
Aloha, e como mai aluani kome. I'll just listen to it sometimes just for fun.
Oh my gosh. And then because it was COVID, they put out a video with that song, and you could learn.
Helped me get through the pandemic.
You could learn the dance, the actual hula that went with it. Very basic moves, obviously. But we could probably do it if the song came on.
Yes.
we would hop right in there.
We sure would.
But yeah.
So that was our Sunday. On Monday, we went out and explored. So we hopped in the car pretty early in the morning. We got breakfast at the counter service in Aulani.
The flatbread.
Go ahead. The flatbreads.
So they had this flatbread, and it was I'd say at least a foot long. They were pretty big.
They were big.
And they had different kinds. I got the Western omelet one, and Mark always got the Charisse one. And it's scrambled eggs and meats and vegetables and cheese. So it's basically an omelet on top of a flatbread. amazing. Very good.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
I do. I do too.
Every day.
They also have Pog juice. If you're a big Disney person and you love your passion orange guava juice, sometimes known in some of the hotels at Disney as jungle juice, or
juice.
What do they call it?
They call it that
at Hawaii. Oh goodness, lily coca juice or
what? Absolutely not.
Something like that. Lily Kauai juice. Lily Kauai juice. Oh. It is. See, I was not that far off.
Coca? Yeah, you were off. Lily Coca.
Lilliko juice. So it's orange. It's the orange guava juice. Anyways, passion orange guava juice. But they have that in ample supply at Aulani, so no worries. One of my favorite kinds of juice, so I was very happy to see that. They even have it bottled, like you can get like your own individual like bottles of it.
Amazing.
Chef's kiss. After that breakfast, though, we hopped in the car and we began our grand circle tour of the island of Oahu. Oahu's not an incredibly large island. It took us the whole day because we stopped several times, but I forget the exact time it would take to fully circumvent the island, but it's not that long. So we got up to the north shore of the island, which Aulani is on the south shore. We got up to the north shore, headed up the west side of the island. There's a really cool turtle beach that you can stop at where there's sea turtles. Not the right time of year, apparently, to see sea turtles there, but apparently you can see sea turtles there on the regular, so they call it kind of like a turtle beach. A lot of people stop there. It was really kind of cool. The thing that amazed me was the size of the waves. Like, for the first time, I realized, like, the waves that we see on the East Coast are never usually that big unless there's a storm. Just to see waves that big on the regular on the north side of the island was astounding.
And there were a bunch of surfers out there.
This is why people surf here.
Yep.
Kind of hit me.
I get it. And we watched some of them at the Turtle Beach in that area. Like, there were some big waves that were coming, and we saw people out there on surfboards, and I was like, I would never want to do that, because that's terrifying to me, but good for you out there doing that.
And we kind of continued our journey, and I cannot speak enough to how beautiful this island is. Yeah. Like, it is just so amazing. It's that volcanic landscape that's been covered over with a tropical rainforest that is unlike really anything I've ever seen before. Real. It does. It looks straight out of Jurassic Park.
It's so picturesque, which was filmed there.
So, great segue. We stopped at the Kualoa Ranch. I think I said that right. Kualoa Ranch, which is a sustainable farm, and they do a lot of different. They do horseback riding.
Not like restaurant, but like things that they grow there, and like meat that they like process there and stuff that you can like go to.
Free range chickens horses, everywhere.
So many chickens, and that's not just on this ranch. That's everywhere.
You can rent so many like chickens. UTVs there. You can.
That big peacock too.
Yes, I do. Well, you can take like they have like these big like giant off-road buses that you can also ride on, which is what we did. We took one of the bus tours
we did a tour.
That go out and explore on the grounds, and this ranch is amazingly beautiful. It was just tremendous to see. Apparently there's some historical connections too that our tour guide was talking about, with it being like I think Kualoa means something having to do with like the kings, and it was a place where traditionally royalty on the island of Oahu was buried, kind of like up in the mountainsides. But at this site there was some really famous and really cool movies and TV shows that were filmed, and you can go to the sets that are still in existence or to the locations where things are filmed,
or they have like things from the sets. Like
so most notably Jurassic Park. That scene where like all of those little dinosaurs like run over the top of the hill before the T-Rex
and they like go over the stump, and
they hide behind
the kids are hiding behind it,
hiding behind that log.
That was right there.
That was. We stood in the same exact place.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And then our tour guide, very funny, has like a little like toy T-Rex that looks like...
That, like, he put like in front of our phone camera when he took a picture to make it look really big. And then we like, like kind of like look. He was like, look in that direction and look scared. So it's kind of like that Disney magic, but like...
But it's not a Disney. Not a Disney.
No,
match.
it is not Disney.
But that guy was very good. He was funny and
Yeah.
he was really kind of cool. But like Lost was filmed there. I think
Kong.
parts of Kong was there. Parts of Pearl Harbor, I think, were filmed there on the site. So there were a lot of pretty famous. Did I mention Lost?
Yeah.
The TV show Lost.
Yep.
So there were a few different, like, well-known movies and TV series that have been filmed on that ranch all the way up until relatively recently when we had gone. Like, they had just finished filming something. I can't remember what
Jurassic
he was
World.
saying, but...
Don't they have some Jurassic World things there, too? The newest of the Jurassic Park saga.
Might have been, yeah. I can't remember exactly.
Something like that, but
it was a really cool stop. Like, it was well worth stopping there, and... Again, you don't just have to, like, take a bus ride through the ranch.
Yeah.
You can also horseback ride through the ranch. You can also UTV through the ranch. So there's a lot of ways to explore. And then each one of those
things get you different access to different things. Like, we didn't go to all of the movie spots where things were filmed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your brother-in-law, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law also just went there. Was it last year?
Last summer, I think, yeah.
And they did the ATV one. So they did a few different spots that we didn't get to go to. And when you go to, like, buy it, like, at the ranch, it shows you the route. So, if there's something you really, really, really want to do and see, you can do that. We just did the bus one because I don't think I can be trusted on an ATV, but...
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. But really cool Kualoa Ranch. Shout out to you. I think it's well worth doing on your visit. They do special excursions too from Aulani if you don't have a car or something like that, where you can book the special. It's going to be more expensive because they're going to transport you there. But keep that in mind that is an option too as well. And we just kind of explored around the island. One of my favorite things to do when we're in a new place is to just kind of drive down back roads and just see, like, what is this place like? Like, really, like off the resorts, off of the picturesque things, like, what is it really like to There be is
there?
an amazing amount of unhoused individuals who live in Hawaii, so that was kind of eye-opening to see how many tents on public beaches.
And it's
all the beaches are public, mind you.
And that's a lot different from up here, to see, tents and stuff just set up on the beaches. And it's like, well, can't they not be there? And it's like, no, they can. So that was definitely different, to see from where we are from. And it was a lot more than you would think. So...
Pro tip, if you drive west from the resort towards the very far western end of the island, the road actually does come to an end and you have to turn around. So, pro tip, didn't know that, I had to turn around. Oops. And someone later told us that you may not have wanted to drive through that part of the island, but I didn't think it was that bad. So,
just like any touristy spot, there can be dangers. People take advantage of tourists because, remember, when you're on vacation, don't just leave your brain at home. That's our typical rant that we do. Stay alert. People are still people. You're not on vacation, especially when you're not on the resort. Like, even if you're going on doing other things, you still have to be careful. So,
but I love the resort days. I did really. This was one of my favorite days, though. Like, I just thought
we
it was
stopped at
so
that
cool.
food truck festival too.
Yes, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That was cool.
So it was just like a lot of local vendors and stuff. We had no idea what we were doing. We just stopped and pulled in.
But like that whole
Very
day where we
for
didn't
us.
really have like a set plan other than we're going to drive around the island.
Yeah, that was it.
It was really a cool day and one of my favorite days on the trip for sure.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we spent another pool day. Again, theme. Day of exploration. Day of hanging around the hotel. So we were relaxed, chill, drank,
I went to the beach at that time.
Went to the beach, went to the pool. Those days, we pretty much did half and half. Like, we would start at the beach in the morning, then we would transition to the pool. So maybe we'd go back to the beach a little bit later, back to the pool. So we really kind of bounced back and forth. The cap, if you will, the culminating part of this day was we went to the very fine dining establishment of Ama Ama.
100,050 bajillion% do it.
Very expensive, though.
Very
know
expensive.
That. And if you're going to go with kids, it's probably not worth it. But if you're going to drop the kids off at Auntie's beach house and go just a mom and dad kind of...
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
And beautiful.
I can still picture my plate.
This is an open air dining area. And if you time it right...
Which we did.
The hotel points west,
We even
folks.
looked up... Yeah.
What does that mean? If the hotel points west, what do you see at the end of the day?
The sunset.
That's correct. Because you're looking
But
west.
we were looking at times for this, we timed it. So, like, we were like, all right, if we're there, we can... get there, we can eat, relax. They're not gonna like kick you out necessarily. So we waited, but it was perfect. We literally got there right around that golden hour.
Almost like someone planned it that way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I said we planned it. That we got there like not too early where we had to wait for the sunset, but it was
You had
like
made reservations though too.
No, I know, I'm saying, but we didn't get there too early. And by the time we were done, it was wow.
Pull out your phones, figure out at the time when you're going, when is the sun set. And I would make reservations for like 30 to 45 minutes before the sunset time. So you get the full experience of the sun setting.
Yeah,
and
you
then
get the golden
ultimately-
hour and then you get the fire in the sky.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Absolutely
Pink,
beautiful.
Purple.
Some of the nicest pictures that we got that whole trip were of that sunset.
And honestly, I think that was the best sunset of the whole trip.
And do not... The sunset's beautiful. The setting, the open air setting is beautiful. Don't underestimate the food here, though, either.
Oh, it is so good.
So good.
The purple potatoes.
Oh my gosh.
I wish I could take home a bucket of those.
Yeah. It was absolutely
So
delicious.
good. The fact that I got 3 different colors of mashed potatoes, I was like, this is pretty amazing. And the steak was great.
By far, I think, the best dining
We
experience
even got like one
had.
of those little treat things since we were on our honeymoon, so they gave us like a little congratulatory little tart thing.
They did, yeah.
Remember?
Little dessert thing, yeah.
So that was nice of them. Yeah, it was very, very good.
Yeah, that was
very
like our
good.
nice dinner for ourselves to celebrate our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
It was quick service for the rest of the time.
The following day, we had perhaps one of the most traumatic experiences of our trip.
This might be the last day we talk about, too. This might have to be a part 2.
So what if it's a little long? We went on a kayak excursion. This was not out of hindsight 2020. They have a really cool like Hawaiian longboat that leaves right from the hotel. That is what we should have done,
and
folks.
you're not paddling it.
You're with a guide.
And
you're on this really cool longboat.
I am not Moana.
That is what we should have done. We should have
for some reason,
booked that.
I really, really, really wanted to go kayaking in the ocean. Why? I couldn't tell you because...
You wanted to see endangered turtles. I can tell you exactly why you wanted
I wanted
to
see the turtles.
Yes.
I never made it to the turtles.
We never even made it close to the turtles. So, folks, this was a special place where you could rent kayaks.
I will do it.
And it was kind of in like a shopping center area.
Yeah.
So, like, we had to drive there in the morning. We got there. We found the place. But it's in the shopping center, and the ocean's not right there.
No.
Okay. Now, we're not inexperienced kayakers. We've kayaked before. We always have kayaked, though, on fresh water.
Yeah.
Kayaking on a pond or a lake is very different than trying to kayak in the ocean. So we got this double kayak thing that we had to roll from
on
the place.
Like a trolley thing.
Like a half mile from the place
and
on
it
a
kept
trolley.
falling off.
All the way to
there wasn't bad.
a canal
it was
that you had to put in at the canal, which
I
was not
forgot
bad.
that part.
Yes, but that wasn't bad. That was a very easy paddle up the canal.
Oh yeah, it was no waves, no nothing.
Paddle up the canal to like a sandbar, and then you have to portage your kayak across the sandbar to the beach to the ocean. And
None of this was in the description when we went to sign up for this.
Not at all.
Also,
we thought it was right on the ocean. You could just go out with the kayaks. Not at all. Not at all. We get to the beach, and this is when things get interesting. The waves were massive.
This is when I wish I had watched Moana a little bit more. Because I feel like
There was a lesson to be learned from
would
Aulani.
have known
Yeah.
that you just have to make it past the reef.
Yeah.
We didn't.
It's true. We did not.
And
So first we had trouble getting the kayak out far enough to get into the kayak because these waves,
no, they're powerful.
and they're huge.
Yeah.
We've grown up on the ocean our entire lives.
Yeah.
Like we've grown up on the coast, but East Coast waves pale in comparison to these Hawaiian waves.
These. Like knock you over. Like you're knee deep and it's
we
going to
just
knock you
could
over.
not even control the kayak was like a missile. Like it kept on like
Shooting.
the waves and like thank God there was nobody like standing behind this because like it would just go shooting back and then we have to walk back. Get it? That should have been our sign.
We should have just stopped
Should
right
have been
there.
our sign. Should have been our sign. It wasn't. Finally, we get it out far enough. We get in the kayak and we start paddling, and we're going, and we're doing pretty good. We hit some waves. We're doing pretty good though.
Right.
What does Moana do? That
She
causes
stops
her
and
problems?
looks to the pig, and then her boat turns.
Yeah, she lets her boat go sideways.
That's not her fault. She was trying to get
You
Pua.
never let the boat go sideways with waves. Never. What were my exact words as we started to go sideways? And I tried to right the ship.
I tried to.
Mind you,
you
we're
act
about
like
100
I was just like, yep, I'm just gonna keep turning sideways. Like I was trying.
Mind you, we're 100 yards out now at this point, or so. Maybe it was a little further, but it was about 100 yards out.
We
is
could
what I would
not
call
touch.
about a football field.
Yeah, we were deep in there.
And it starts to go sideways. I'm like, Rachel, we got to get it straight again. We got to get it straight
And
again.
I tried.
Well, we didn't try hard enough.
Well, it was my fault.
Because the kayak went sideways and flippity flip flip flip, we both went for a swim. Right out, just like Moana. We both flew into the water.
Panicked.
This was just a sheer moment of panic for
I
Rachel.
panicked.
Yes. It was not pretty. Not at all. So luckily, we had the wet bag. We had all that stuff that was hooked onto the kayak properly, so we were good there. First thing you need to do is flip the kayak back over, which we do successfully. Now, we need to get into the kayak about 100 yards out, and there's like
can't push
no
on the
bottom
bottom.
in sight.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to just use your arms and pull yourself up into it. Well, the two of us not really thinking, kind of Rachel panicking, me not really thinking here, we're on the same side of the kayak. I'm like, okay, you get in first. And Rachel goes to get in this. The problem here is nobody's counterbalancing the kayak on the opposite side,
We
right?
flipped it over again.
So we flipped it back over because we were both leaning on the same side of the kayak. So
And then I panic even harder now.
yes,
So now
yes.
I'm really panicking because now I feel like I'm never going to be able to get in this thing because it flipped over again. So now
Yep.
I'm spiraling.
she is.
And I don't like deep ocean
And-
water. And I can't feel anything on my feet. And I'm just afraid a shark is like right there. Or a jellyfish or something is going to brush up against my legs. And I am going to flip out. Right here and now, I was in... It was not a good moment for me. Like, it was actually, like, pure terror.
She made the claim that she was going to swim back.
Yes. I said,
Which
I
looked at
can't
her-
do this. I'm swimming.
I looked at her and I pointed to the shoreline.
It was fight or
100
flight.
yards
It was
distance.
fight or
and
flight.
I was like,
I was fleeing.
you are not swimming that
I was.
far back to the... You would not
I
have made
was-
it. You would not have made it.
I was going to try.
You were not going to make it.
My adrenaline was pumping.
Nah, you weren't going to make it.
Well, my fight or flight said swim
So I
to
got
land.
on
Get
the
to land.
other side of the kayak, as I should have in the first place. And we get Rachel
Still panicking.
trying to get up and in it, and she can't do it.
I'm not strong.
And she was like, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. And I don't remember the exact words because 5 years have elapsed, but I looked at her and I said, Rachel, look at me. And she looked at me with the exact same eyes that she's staring at me now. Like a little bit of fear, a little bit of like, oh no, what is he going to say to me? And I looked at her and I said this may not have been proper for me to say at the moment, but we needed to like buckle down and just do it.
I needed to be snapped out of this.
I looked at her and I said, you need to put your big girl pants on and you need to pull yourself up into this kayak.
The newlyweds.
And you know what? She did.
I said, okay. Okay. And I did it.
She got it up,
I did.
didn't you?
I did.
Okay. And she got herself into that kayak. And once she got herself into that kayak, it was my turn to get ourselves in this kayak. Now, we were near like a buoy.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I was like, I'm going to hold on to this to give myself an anchor too, so we don't flip over again. And you were like, great idea. So I'm holding on to it with two hands, and I'm trying to steady it enough so the waves aren't like knocking you over. But you got like really Hercules, like adrenaline, like manly, rah. Like you really had to pull yourself up into this kayak. And he does, and he put all his strength into it, and he pushes himself off up into the air and over the other side of the kayak, face first into the water on the other side.
I was like a torpedo. I shot myself right over the top.
You're like, I'm gonna get in. Overshot.
Like Free Willy, like
yeah.
Anyways,
I'm still panicking that there's a shark that's gonna come and get us.
Rachel's like flashing like what was the video? What was the movie? Not Jaws, the other one.
Oh,
In the Deep, or
no, it's called The Shallows, because it was like not deep water. It's The Shallows, and it's Blake Lively, and she's on literally the same kind of buoy that I was holding on to. So traumatizing.
Anyways, I got myself up into the kayak.
But eventually we made it.
And we made our way back. And at that point, we were like, screw the endangered turtles. We don't want to see them anymore. We're just going to go back to the hotel and drink. And so we got ourselves across that sandbar, back into the canal, back over to our dolly. And the minute we do that and start to walk this kayak back the half a mile back to where we need to get it, it starts downpouring.
Like downpouring.
Torrential downpouring.
Yeah, no. This is not your thunderstorm with downpouring rain. This is like someone's just taking a bucket on you and just constantly putting it over you. But yes. I have a really funny video that I should post.
Yes, you should on our social medias.
It kept falling off the trolley, and Mark was getting really mad. And all I could do was laugh at this point, because all of my gigawatts were gone in the ocean, because that's where I left them. After that experience, I had nothing left but to laugh at this whole thing, and he's yelling at me to like get it on, and I'm like, I don't know how to help you. And it was finally we made it back.
We did, and we went back to the hotel and drank.
Yes, we were just like,
the
that's
only
it.
Appropriate thing to do at that point.
They were like, how was like your thing off? We said it didn't go well. Another round.
We had a great day, rest of the day at the hotel, though. The next day was a resort day, following with our general theme of excursion, resort day, excursion, resort day. So we spent some time by the pool, but we also had made, in order to celebrate our honeymoon, a reservation at the spa at Aulani Resort. And let me tell you, folks, one of my biggest regrets, besides the kayaking excursion, was not booking the spa more than once while we were there.
We should have took the money for the kayak and just did 2 spa days. And I will always remember this. And I will say this is much more enjoyable than being in the kayak. But I also kind of think, imagine if we were out in the water during that downpour.
Yeah,
I would have even freaked out even more.
Yeah. It would have been
so
worse.
Maybe
it's probably a blessing in disguise.
But still. Anyways,
spa.
more spas, less kayaking.
The spa was amazing. I highly suggest this. Not only can you get like your massages and stuff like that, but there's also like really cool water therapy garden areas where you can like walk on the rocks that like hit different pressure points. I like the
waterfall showers.
You can do the waterfall showers, which are like mimicking different styles of waterfall.
Like whether speed or like intensity and like how much, like whether it's like a nice rain or just like more of that massaging, like strong current like in it. That was really cool. They even had one of those like freezing
hot
water
tubs and the
different
cold
temperatures
tubs
of hot
that
tubs.
You could dip into. It was really cool. And we did a couples massage together. And this was my first ever massage. And it's been the only massage I've had since then.
Does that tell me something?
I got a little lady. She was a very small woman.
She was tiny.
But, oh my God.
She was strong.
She destroyed
Like, Mark
my
was
back.
sore for the next 2 days. He
Left,
was like
hickey marks on my back.
So...
Like, she was so little, and, like, the pushing, like, she was, like, up on top of the table, like, leaning down on my back.
All right, so listen. Mark didn't understand that when they ask you if the pressure is good, like, you can say, like, no, that's too much, a little lighter, or a little harder, or whatever you want, and... we didn't put deep tissue on the thing, but I'm pretty sure she asked deep tissue and Mark said yes. And honestly, we should have swapped because I'm the one that needs deep tissue. Like, Mark doesn't have any tense muscles in his body. So she was literally just punching into, like, soft muscle that did not need any type of tension release and hurting him. I enjoyed myself, but I looked over at one point and this woman is at Mark's head with both of her hands on his shoulders. And she's literally pushing, like, she's, like, pushing against a wall, like, trying to, like, keep pushing because she's, like, so small. And I was just kind of like, do I say something? Like, are you okay? Like, is everything good?
I was, in fact, not okay.
No, he was not okay. Me. And he did not say anything the entire time.
She destroyed me. Like, literally, like, broke my
body.
That
was not enjoyable. I was like, I had a great time. I don't know what you're talking about.
But the entire spa experience was amazing. I highly suggest that you do it on your vacation. Just do not make my mistake and not, like, tell the person that, like, you are hurting me. So that was how we spent the Thursday.
Even though she asked you multiple times. I do have to...
Whatever. That's how we spent the Thursday on our trip. Friday... excursion day again, right? Again, I like that. Like, the way that we did that was very smart. Hotel day, excursion day. Anyways, for this excursion day...
This was Mark's day.
This was my day. I wanted to go to Pearl Harbor.
I wanted the spa and the kayak thing, and that didn't go so well. So, hopefully Mark's day will go better.
It did. We went to Pearl Harbor. That was an amazing experience. I highly suggest visiting Pearl Harbor. It's going to be a somber experience, obviously.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a downer, if you will, on your trip, but I think it's something that everybody should do. To go out to the Arizona Memorial and to, like, see it still, like, leaking oil and knowing that
crazy.
It literally is a graveyard for those sailors who lost their lives on December 7th, 1941 in those attacks. Was really kind of just a sombering experience, but I think something that, like, every American should see in the course of their lifetime. Like, one of the rare World War II, like, battlegrounds that actually happened in our country and not in some foreign land across the world somewhere. So highly suggest visiting Pearl Harbor. I thought that was a moving experience. And then we headed on into Honolulu for the rest of the day. I really wanted to go to the Imperial Palace. Did not work so well. It is located literally in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And there is a 4-lane highway in front of it. Now,
it's not a highway. It was just like a road.
It felt like a highway.
It wasn't a highway.
It was a 4-lane major road in front of it.
It was a major road, but we weren't, like, going 60.
We had it on GPS to get into the palace, the Imperial Palace.
But you know how GPSs are. They're going to, like, put you in, like, a weird spot that wasn't where the parking lot was.
So my co-pilot
I still have the trauma of the kayaks, okay? At this point,
My co-pilot indicates to me that I need to be in the left lane for a left turn. So, me being a dutiful husband and a good driver, I put on my blinker, and I start to make my way to the left lane. She then looks again at the map and goes, "Oh, no, I'm sorry. You need to be in the right lane. We're going to take a right turn here." And I go, "Oh, okay." And I put on my blinker and start to make my way across these 4 lanes over to the right lane. At this point, we can now see the Imperial Palace on the left-hand side. That should have been my clue that I needed to take a left turn. That aside, she looks back at the phone and she goes, "Oh, man, I'm so sorry. You need to turn left." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So
no, the okay turned from okay to all right. Like, slowly gets more agitated.
And so I put on my blinker and I start going back across the 4 lanes.
And I go, what are you doing? I got mad at you.
And she gets mad at me. She has the gall to get mad at me and be like, what are you doing?
You need to
turn right. And I go, okay. And
at that point you were like,
no.
It went more times than that?
And then,
no, I don't think it
yes,
did
it does.
That many times.
And then she goes, wait, what are you doing? You need to turn left here. And I looked at her, and God forgive me because I used the Lord's name in vain. But I looked at her and I said this: Jesus Christ, woman, left or right? Which one is it? It was left, and I was in the right lane, so we did not visit the Imperial Palace that day.
It was, in fact, left. Rachel was not right, and we did not go there.
We need to just pull that story out of this to, like, put that up on, like, our social media page to be like, this is the insanity you listen to when you listen to one of our episodes.
Seriously.
Anyways, so we didn't get to the Imperial Palace, but we did get to Leonard's Bakery. Highly suggest Leonard's Bakery.
I didn't realize Portuguese had such a big influence.
Whalers, man.
Yeah.
Hawaii became a whaling port. Portuguese sailors on whaling vessels made their way there.
That's malasadas.
I am Portuguese. Malasadas are a big malasadish. Are a big delicacy within the Portuguese community. It's basically fried dough, but it's better than fried dough.
Yeah,
like,
it's fluffier.
It's much more fluffy and moist and like.
Ugh. I don't like that word.
It's more airy than fried dough.
Yeah.
Like it's
not as like fried dough is so thin and so.
It's like almost more like a donut.
Yeah, kind of.
That's more. Yeah. It's like a fried dough donut, if you will.
Fried dough donut.
That might be a good way to think of it. And Leonard's is well known for their.
They have so
malasadas.
many kinds. They have chocolate filled ones, strawberry filled ones.
Yeah. And all I can tell you is
think of it smelled wonderful.
They are so good. And you need to stuff your face with some Leonard's malasadas if you go to
we ate the whole bag.
Oahu. We did. Quickly
ate the whole bag.
Like, not like over the course of...
No, we ate the whole bag like in the parking lot.
It happened quick. It did happen in the parking lot. That's right.
We sat there and ate it in the parking lot.
And we capped off our vacation that night, just hanging around the hotel, really trying to enjoy and just... I think at one point we sat on the balcony in the back of the lobby area. We went to the Oleo room, I think it's called, like the little bar
one
that's
night.
off
I think
of
that was
Makahiki.
Earlier in the trip, but yeah.
And we just really
live music was there. That was fun.
Yeah.
The only downfall to this is that everything does close really early, so there really is no quote-unquote nightlife. One night we did go across the street to, I forget what it's called. It's like Monkey Bar or Monkey something.
Yeah.
With a monkey. But it was like a restaurant and bar with live music. And that
There's
was right
a
across
shopping
the street.
center across the street
from
where this
so we
is.
walked over from there, and it was nice. And it was a little bit cheaper because you weren't on the resort. But, still kind of expensive just because you're traveling. But that was really cool, too, to like get more of the local / not resort feel. So, yeah, we just kind of hung out and soaked it in.
We did. And the next day...
We got on a plane again.
And
this time we went into LAX. And
we did.
Then flew back home.
That is correct.
And we had a horrible meal at LAX.
We left there at noon.
Remember?
And we got back at 6 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah.
So that was not as
hard.
Fun. Yes. And I ended up getting an ear infection. Do you remember that? Like, I couldn't hear.
Yeah. Actually, before that. Wasn't it before the last day?
I started feeling not well. And then after the plane, my ear popped on the plane.
And then you couldn't hear out of it.
And the doctor's exact words later that week when I went to him, because I couldn't hear out of my ear, was, "Oh my God." And that's something you never want to hear your doctor say when he's looking at something on your body.
You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you have a raging ear infection.
Raging was the exact word he used, yes.
It's like, that's why you can't hear anything. It's like swollen shut.
Anyways. We did have a bad meal. We went to Panda Express. I don't know if I'd ever go to one of those again.
It could have just been bad airport stuff.
Maybe somebody on the West Coast can like redeem Panda Express for us, but it was disgusting, whatever we had.
Yeah.
But anyways, it was an amazing trip. I know that this episode was kind of long, but we really wanted to hit on all those highlights of our honeymoon in honor of the 5-year anniversary of our honeymoon. And I cannot wait. Maybe for our 10-year anniversary, maybe we should start planning now that for our 10-year anniversary, we're going to take a family trip out there in order to celebrate our 10-year anniversary together. Give us something to look forward to.
I think that's 5 years from now, but okay.
I don't know if we're going to get there sooner. So
no, I don't think so either.
If we start planning now, though, maybe in 5 years we can get there. Anyways, as long as the world doesn't fall apart between now and then.
I don't think it will.
We can hope. Anyways, folks, we hope that you enjoyed this episode. I do know it's long, but some really fun stories in there, and I hope that you laughed along the way with some of our funny stories and experiences.
Some of you had to be there, but hopefully
Aulani,
we gave you a good
consider
picture.
visiting Aulani. If you've never been, you need to put this on your bucket list. This is literally, I think, my favorite Disney
and I do
hotel
book
in
these.
the whole world.
I don't just do Disney.
This is correct.
This is part of the Disney family of vacation destinations.
I haven't mentioned it yet, but remember that you can book your next Disney vacation, including Aulani, through Rachel, rmello at mickeytravels.com. Now, I bet some of you are thinking, he forgot to do his dad joke, didn't he? I did not. Thanksgiving dad joke number 2. Why did the cranberry blush?
Why did the cranberry blush?
It saw the turkey dressing. With that, folks, remember to follow us on our social media accounts.
That's terrible.
Send us an email. It starts with a wish.podcast@gmail.com. And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.